Buenos dias. No, buenas noches, señorita. Me llamo es Alex.
Mi amo es Jax.
Figured we'd start off.
Jose sent me a little video yesterday of himself on the news there, but it was like a Spanish speaking TV station. And so I was like, I wish my Espanol was a little bit better so I could actually understand what all the story is and what you're saying. But my Spanish is taking a little dive. So,
I figured we would start off the podcast with a little bit of Spanish since we did play UTRGV, just to shout them out just a little bit real fast. I figured do that for them. I figured that'd be nice. But anyway, so shoot, what a day. I mean, we have been running ragged all day. I have a hat on because my hair looks like absolute dog shit. I need a shower. I feel like I'm like, I don't know. I'm more busy now than I was pre-pandemic, and it's driving me bonkers, and I don't like it.
Yeah. Well, it's a busy week for you prepping for classes to start back next week.
Yeah, it just feels like this semester is just double busy. I don't know. I don't get it. Anyway. All right. Enough about me. Let's talk about the show, and let's get it going. Woo-woo. Jacqueline, do you have any drinks?
I'm just drinking water with my lemon cucumber mint water.
Well, we're going to cheers to it anyway. Cheers.
See, it even says H2O, drink more water.
I love it. Cheers. Yeah. I had a hell of a day, so I'm having my Spanish gato negro.
The black cat. I love it. I love black cats so much. I mean,
I do love black cats too. That's always, if I ever said if I got a cat, I would get a black cat. And then name him Salem Saberhagen. Yeah. Anyway, so it was like a $5 bottle at Specs. So I said, you know what? Let's try El Gato Negro.
How is it?
It's pretty good, actually. Pinot. Pretty good. Decent for $5 from San Pedro. Yeah. Anyway, all right, let's get the show going. All right, we're back.
Hello, everyone. All right, so we each have a few little random notes, unrelated to the related to the basketball game, but not the actual game.
Related, but not related. Yeah.
Before we started. So for starters, I was very happy to see that Rati was back on the bench because, ever since he got injured, we've pretty much only had road games, and he hasn't been there. So we were happy to see him back down there. I'm sure the guys are super psyched to have him, at least there, cheer him on, give him a little guidance. So that was nice. I was glad he was back with a huge apparatus on his leg.
It really was. Obviously, he had a surgery, and he's recovering from that. So still stinks. Wish that didn't happen to him. Obviously, selfishly for us too, but I more just feel bad for the kid. 200% feel bad for the kid.
Yeah. Then we had a few little special guests. So we had my cousin Jeremy from LA was in town, and he came and sat with us. And part of the time, my aunt and his 4-year-old daughter also sat with us, which was a whole nother thing because she's a lively little girl.
You want to count on some popcorn?
Oh my gosh! Did I show you that picture that he took of her?
No.
Tilting the box up like this to get the last few little crumbs out.
You got to get every kernel though. Literally, if every kernel is not in your mouth, then you have failed as a popcorn eater.
Yeah, she was loving that popcorn. Also, our new favorite, David's girlfriend Maria, was there.
Love her so much. Gosh.
We offered for her to come sit with us, and she said she would be too stressed out if she sat up that close. So
yeah,
I get it. So we were really happy to see her. We got to see a few of our friends from our our little running buddies from the Kansas trip. So Chuck Cox was there, and Uber Andy and T-Bone. So we were happy to see them after a long hiatus. We want a little Kansas repeat. I do anyway. I mean, I guess that's what we'll kind of be doing next weekend. So
I hope that Uber Andy and T-Bone are coming. We'll have to text them and see if they're going to go or not.
I'm sure they will, but yeah, we need to check.
Yeah.
And then I got to catch up with one of my brother's classmates from Douglas, Randy Slay. He was there, so I was happy to see him. He's actually coming. So he did hospitality in undergrad and worked in that for a while, but then during COVID, you know how hospitality kind of took a nosedive because naturally people can. Anyway, so now he's coming back to SFA and he's doing the aviation program. So I'll be excited to hear about, his thoughts and experience with that. So
another potential person to eventually fly us to locations. Yeah.
Well, so that's exciting.
Yeah, that was cool.
Then a few little random notes I had. First and foremost, in defense of the ESPN Plus announcer, because I know there was some talk on Twitter about how he was boring or something. So when I watched it back today, usually there are two of them commentating on the ESPN Plus broadcast. Last night, there was only one of them. I don't know where the other guy was. There was only one. So, I mean, it's kind of difficult to do it when you're just by yourself because you don't have anyone to like banter back and forth with. You kind of just have to call the game. And he wasn't bad. I mean, he just wasn't Rob,
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Here the thing, I guess, to tell everybody that's listening or will listen eventually is just if you're not enjoying the ESPN play-by-play for SFA, just literally mute it and then turn on Rob. That's what Jacqueline does. That's what I do on occasion. Sometimes I want to listen to the other jokers just to see what they say, just so I can, again, write down the ridiculous quotes that they have. But if it's something like that you're not enjoying it, just turn on Rob. Guarantee you'll enjoy it.
I will say though, it's very difficult and it takes some skill to do that because normally the timing's not exactly perfect. It's a few possessions off. So it's really difficult to maintain that if you want Rob's commentary to match up with the play. So I've kind of somewhat mastered it, but it takes a lot of effort. But yeah, whenever I watch a game that's an away game on ESPN Plus, I always, when I watch it the first time, I listen to Rob because that's the only chance you have is to listen to him live. And then when I watch it back, I of course listen to their commentators so I can compare the two. But anyway, there's that. Then random note, if anyone didn't look it up on your own, their mascot is the Vaqueros. And that is a cowboy.
It is a cowboy. Did you not know that?
I mean, I just hadn't looked it up. Yeah.
But I mean, I just normally, you didn't have to, I didn't have to look it up to know what I guess I just couldn't know what a Vaquero is. I guess that's why.
Or I didn't remember if I knew. I'm sure I knew it at some point, but
yeah.
It escaped.
It's obviously it's a term used obviously to describe cowboy in Spanish, obviously, but yeah, it's just a Spanish cowboy. It's obvious, obviously they're in UTRGV and it's very much a Hispanic culture down there, and so it just fits perfectly with that school. So a couple other notes worth noting is that I really enjoyed enjoyed isn't the right word. I really think that the jerseys that the Vaqueros had were pretty interesting design. It had like little scalloping at the very bottom of the shorts, and I made a note of that. I tweeted about it yesterday. I liked it. I thought it was an interesting touch. Obviously, a girl design those. Who puts scalloping on their uniform? It's just an interesting design feature. I've never seen that. It's like usually just like stripes or something. You know what I mean? I've never seen that.
I've never seen it either. That was the first for me.
Yeah. And then the other note that we had was, I'm assuming you mean the picture that we commented that we shared. Okay. Yes. So, give me a second. Let me pull it up. It was a picture that Austin had sent to somebody else on Twitter, but it was a picture of number 3 jersey on one of our chairs with the SFA kind of like the play dry erase board that Coach Keller uses to call his plays and draw out his plays. And it was sitting in, on the chair. So I'm going to see if we can just do that right there.
Like at the end of the bench, I believe.
Yeah. So it was just a nice little touch, a nice gesture that Austin and the rest of the coaches did for Coach Hill. So Coach Hill was the Vaqueros' late coach. He had passed away kind of unexpectedly last year, and so we were just honoring him and his legacy and showing some respect for their fallen coach. So cheers to Coach Hill. What are we wrong, Corey? Wrong what?
But no, yeah, I had seen that you tweeted that, but I didn't know what the story was. And then, I figured it had to be something along those lines. But then whenever I was watching it back today, they, filled me in on the background. So
Gotcha.
While we're waiting on Corey to clarify what's wrong, I'll give the general history and background info.
Probably something you said, to be fair.
UTRGV. So we've only played them 3 times before last night. We had, in those matchups, we had 1 win and 2 losses in our history with them. We lost in a super low scoring game. We kind of touched on this at the end of the last episode, I believe. We lost super low scoring game, 46-44 against them in 2006. And then we played them twice, once in 1986 and once in 1987 we split a win and a loss between those 2. So last night, our starters were Gavin, David, Calvin, Nigel, Trell, usual lineup. We, of course, won by 11 points, 86-75. Our attendance was 1709. And that's that. So you want to do the WAC standings? Has Corey responded yet on the wrong?
He just said that he's not drinking. I don't really know specifically what that is in reference to. Not sure. I mean, obviously
saying that it's just we're wrong because he's not drinking them. You are.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Sure. All right. WAC standings are as follows. Not too much of a difference between the other night and tonight as it stands today. New Mexico State, Grand Canyon still ahead at 2-0 apiece in the WAC and the conference. Then you got Seattle U 1-0. Sam Houston, Tarleton are tied with 3-1. Utah Valley and ourselves are at 2-1. And then you get Abilene Christian at 2-2. Chicago State 1-3. California Baptist 0-1, along with Lamar the same. And then Dixie State and UTRGV 0-4. So that is the current WAC standings as of today. And again, not a huge difference, but top 8 were, ACU, us, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can't count. Yeah, ACU, us, Utah Valley, Tarleton, Sam Houston, Seattle U, Grand Canyon, and New Mexico. So that is the top 8 as of today.
All righty then.
Yeah. Very exciting stuff. Very exciting stuff.
Okay, so Sean Kennedy stat section. We have about the same field goal percentage we've been having at 46%. Our 3-point percentage, decent at 29.2. Our free throw percentage, we went up by about 10 to 70%. So the first half, we were 100% almost the whole time. We ended at 90% in the first half, and then we were 60 the second half to split for the 70. But much better. I like that. You know
what I gotta say to that? One sec. Bruh.
Our points in the paint, right back where we like to see them at 42. Points off of turnovers, we had 19, pretty good. Second chance points, we had 13. Fast break points, we had 30.
Yeah, I was gonna say I had a feeling our fast break points were gonna be pretty substantial, substantial, along with our bench points, and they are.
So our bench points, 42. Our total rebounds, we had 35. We had 11 offensive boards and 24 defensive boards. So our fouls, again, were pretty high this game at 25. I will say, so it's only 2 less than the Charlton game, but it really didn't seem like as many because the referees were a little more consistent with what they deemed a foul. So it just didn't seem as bad. Turnovers, we more than cut them in half. We only had 11. Love to see it. Love to see that. They had 17 turnovers. We had 8 steals and 5 blocks. So pretty good on both of those stats too. So our game leaders, our player of the game was our boy Day Day. So happy. He scored. He almost had a double-double too. He had 18 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 block, and 2 steals. And just to let y'all know, his personal field goal percentage was almost 78%. So pretty good. I mean, for a majority of the game, he had made most of his shots.
Yeah, he was playing lights out.
The next in line, we had JJP with 16 points, 3 rebounds, 1 block. His field goal percentage was pretty high too, at about 67%. Then we had Calvin with 14 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals. He matched his career high last night. And for a majority of the game, he was shooting 100%. He ended up with 75% field goal percentage. Then we had David with 13 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. And Trell with 11 points, 1 rebound, 5 assists, and 2 steals.
I mean, absolutely fantastic. 5 players in double digits. That's just wonderful. I don't remember me calling New Mexico State University of New Mexico, so just throwing that out there. Never said that. Thanks a lot. All right, anyway. Okay, so moving right along into our feats of strength. So there were a good number of things that happened last night. It was obviously there was how do I say it? It was a game of like streaks sometimes too. It was kind of back and forth for a while there in the beginning. And then, of course, we started to pull away as we got closer to the half. And then thankfully kept it pretty much the entire second half for the most part, as far as I can remember or recall. And so, I mean, just major props to the leading scorers, just, I mean, keeping us in the game, especially Day and JJP, just absolutely lights out last night. So love Day, our boy Day. And I know Jacqueline has a couple notes about him as well, but Day is he is just a breath of fresh air every time he comes off the bench. I feel like he just kind of always just a surge of energy. Terrell used to be that surge of energy. Now he's on, starting. So he's always starting with like a surge of energy. But I love how vibrant and vivate, like he's just ready to go every time. And he's all over the court. Him and Terrell, just all over the court. Can't stop, won't stop.
Yeah, he played great. Some notes I had on him. He played great defense on a backdoor attempt. I was so happy because, like I was saying the last episode, the way that we do overplay aggressively on defense, you just really got to be paying attention nonstop. And he really was like very aware of what was happening and came over and helped. And a block on the backdoor attempt. He had like at least 1 or 2 really great moves inside for an and one. He got a bunch of offensive boards and putbacks. And he can finish every time he takes it into the bucket. And I love that.
Exactly. And that's what I was saying last night. I literally turned to Jacqueline multiple times and I just looked at her. I was like, he can finish. He knows how to finish at the basket. I mean, no matter if the guy that is guarding him is, 3 inches, 4 inches taller than him, he's gonna do whatever he can to get that basket. And whether or not he gets the basket or he fouls or he gets fouled or whatever it may be, like he is an absolute terror. And that says it I'm saying that in a good way. Like he is so good. I just wish, that everybody, not just him, everybody on the team had that aggressiveness. Like he's almost kind of like he's straddling the line between, being too aggressive, and then like, not. I guess what I'm trying to say is, he has the right amount of aggressiveness in the paint and under the basket. Like he's not doing too much to where he's going to get fouled. He's going to literally foul every time or foul every time. You know what I mean? Like he's doing what he needs to do under the basket. He knows he knows what he's doing. Let's just say that. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing.
He's tenacious for sure.
He really is. And it's just crazy that he's so young, first of all, and he already has those skills. Whereas, we've seen not just on our team, but other teams, seniors, or players in the past on our team that were seniors, juniors, who just weren't even close to the level that he is currently. It's just, it bodes well for our future as a team that and hopefully that can hold on and keep someone like Day. Same thing with Trell. An absolute spitfire. I mean, that is my dog. Like, that is my absolute dog, my G. I love Trell. Like, I'm obsessed with him, first of all. His style is unmatched, and, like, his swagger on the court is just chef's kiss. Can't beat it.
I love him. I will say he wasn't – his percentage from the three-point line last night wasn't as good as normal. He was only 2 of 10. But the two that he made were great. Like one was way, way out, and the other was just a little step back. It looked smooth as silk.
Yeah. And that is a very good point. He didn't have as strong of a 3-game last night, but his defense last night, again, like he's all over the court. I mean, he's on you like white on rice. He knows the plays. He knows where he's going. He is quick as hell. And I love that kid. I think he has a bright future. And if he just keeps going at this pace, I really, we've said this before and I'll say it again. I really think that he could be that guy. He could be that guy. He could be the star of the team, the guy that, everybody counts on, clutch 3 time. You know what I mean? So loved it. I really, really did. JJP.
He had a great game last night too.
I mean, an absolute stunning game from that bloke. An absolute stunning game. I made a couple notes about him. A 3 from JJP, a few of them. He had that great dunk at the end of the game. I mean, literally the crowd was, well, I will talk about the crowd itself in the grievances, but the crowd was just quiet as a damn church mouse all night. And then that very ending, when he hit that dunk, the place exploded. I'm like, where has this been all night? Anyway, but that dunk was just gnarly.
Pass was so nice, and he did really well from the 3-point line. He was 3 of 5 from the 3-point line last night, and he just had some really great clutch shots too.
Maria said, I think we were talking about Trell when she said great instinct. Totally true. Absolutely. He really does. And he's not the only one. I feel like Day has good instinct as well. We talked about this before, that I love how he follows his shots, and there's a lot of NBA players that don't do that stuff. And I love how he follows his shots. You can always count on him to at least attempt to get his put back, or at least get his own rebound. And for the putback, he's going for it. Same thing with Trell. I think he just has so much potential. Him and Day both. It's just wild. Oh my goodness. Just absolutely wild. And then, of course, this is the first year we're seeing JJP play, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, this is all new for us. This is the first year we're seeing Day play and Trell play, but like we knew we had a good player in Jalen. We just hadn't seen it because he was, of course, hurt. Oh man. And also I would like to, I don't often, but I would like to give a quick shout out to Gavin for those couple sick blocks he had. They were monsters. That also got a lot of juice flowing in that, a lot of energy pump up. So those were huge blocks there towards the end of the game as well, trying to stave off a, Vaquero run. So, man, anything else on your end? I'm sure you have a few.
Yeah. So David had a really great game. I mean, 13 points. That's pretty high for, like we said, a point guard. he was just doing a great job driving in and drawing the foul. He got a couple of and ones, some really nice reverse layups per usual. Really happy. He didn't get any playing time in the second half, but Diego went in the first half and made a 3 and then got fouled and made both of his free throws. I was really, really happy with that.
I agree completely. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah. Let's see. We did much better on the turnovers. I mentioned that. And better on the free throws, which I was happy about. Calvin, again, with matching his career high, he made some really great moves to the bucket. He had an and one, and then he banked a 3-pointer, which I'm like, is this our new thing? Like the last 3 games, we've had someone bank in a pointer. So
I think it is. I think that's our new bag is we bank in threes from people that don't normally get threes.
Right. Like I was just like, this must be our new move.
Has to be.
And I will say Nana redeemed himself on the screens because I know the last game, he got called for a moving screen, and then I think he was kind of I can't think.
Hesitant, kind of just
he was a little hesitant to try to really set the screen, and he set some good screens last night. So he was back on track with that. And
agree.
then not basketball related, but at the end, several of our players came over and gave us our hugs after the game. So I was happy with that.
Highly, highly appreciative for. I mean, if I'm gonna lose my voice and like for my team, I at least need a hug. But we got multiple, so that was nice. But I mean, for goodness sakes, holy moly. Absolutely. I one more quick shout out to our bench points. Our guys coming off the bench, 42 points off the bench. 42. That's just love that. I love that. So we gotta keep that up. Gotta keep that up.
It was almost half our points.
Exactly. I mean, that's bananas right there. Absolutely bananas. So I really, really, really wanted to give a last quick shout out before we move on to the next part of it. Next part of our podcast, but those bench points, just those bench players coming off is just absolutely clutch and key. One more person I wanted to mention, he didn't get any points last night, but that doesn't mean he didn't play his absolute ass off defensively, and getting rebounds was Nigel. Nigel didn't get any points last night. I mean, he was 0 for 6, 0 for 4. And I mean, I get it. You have a night sometimes, just nothing falls. I understand. It happens. But he had 5 rebounds last night, all of them defensive. So that was, I love it. He had a big block, and he was just, like I said, he was all over the court playing defense. He was cheering on the team on the sidelines when he wasn't in. I feel like he had a really good defensive game, and I am pleased as punch at that. Because again, not every night are you going to have, 3, 4, 5 threes like he did the other night. It's just not going to happen every single night. It'd be great. Love it.
Yeah, and the defensive games are just as important. So,
well, yeah, defense wins championships.
Show does.
I mean, that's kind of a football thing, but it still relates. It still relates, right? You got to play defense. You got to have a good defense, have a good offense. I feel like sometimes. So good there. All right, let's move on. Moving on to the next part of our podcast, the section that you hate to love and love to hate.
With the airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're going to hear about
it. Oh, man. For all the good that we talked about in this game, there is equally some really just poopy moments. But I feel like nothing surprises me anymore. I feel like this is going to be the story of the year, that we're going to have just close games, nail biters, games that we should be blowing people out on. That's going to be close as hell. Games that we should get, absolutely torn apart in. It's going to be either close or we win. And, the first and the biggest issue I have with last night didn't even happen on the court. This is my rant for the night. Jacqueline's the other night was the refs. Mine is the crowd. I am disgusted. Disgusted. What was our attendance last night?
1705.
1704. Let me go back. 1702 were quiet as church mice last night. Me, you, and Chauncey. The entire night. That was it. That was it. I am appalled. If you're going to buy a ticket and spend money on a basketball game, and you're going to sit there, and I tweeted this, I didn't care, with 0 fire. If you're going to spend money on a game, I'm sorry. Why would you spend money on a game and then sit there like a bump on the log on your phone the whole time and not even cheer, not even clap? Not even clap. Like, what are you doing? I just don't understand this. That was the quietest, the absolute quietest I've ever in all my years of going to these games since 2007, and you've gone longer, have heard that fucking stadium. And I am sickened. Absolutely sickened. There were so many moments last night that deserved cheers. So many moments. And the fact that they were quieter than, I don't even know what the analogy is. Like, I don't even know. Sounded like a damn graveyard in there. It sounded like a damn graveyard, Jacqueline. And I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, there were students there, so I'll take back my original comment about the fact that when I first originally tweeted that there was a business, they came in late, but they were there, but they just didn't sit together, and that's fine. I'll take that step, but honestly, we need to get them over into the other section. But you know what? As long as they're there, that's cool. But they need to do something. They're just sitting there. They need direction. They don't know what to do. All these students that are here now, they've had a COVID year and like another half of a COVID. They don't know what the frick to do. They need direction. They need someone to stand there in front of them and be like, defense, and cheer and show them what they need to do. And there's nobody doing it.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I know. It was definitely quiet enough that we could have yelled at the referees and they would have heard every word. But you know, maybe T-Bone down there on the court was afraid to yell at the referees since he got told he could leave last time.
Well, and that's my thing too. Like, I want to talk absolute smack to the referees, but I'm afraid if I do it, I'm going to get my ass kicked out of the game. You know what I mean? And so
as long as you don't curse them or say derogatory things, they're really just supposed to ignore that. But
well, true. But you remember last time I yelled at the refs, I said neither one of those things and still got the evil glare. So I feel like everybody's so sensitive nowadays, Jacqueline. I could literally say, oh my God, you're a horrible ref. And they'd be like, you out of here.
Yeah, I know. It's just annoying. They're really just supposed to ignore that. Cause I mean, it's like whenever I think I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again because it applies here. But like whenever my dad and my uncle used to referee, whenever my brother and I and my cousin would go to the games, we would literally sit as close as possible and just heckle and yell at them the whole game because we thought it was hilarious. And
it is.
Like, they're just kind of supposed to tune that out. It's not supposed to be a big deal.
Exactly. Anyway, so I mean, but
if it's my
grievance isn't with the refs. Like, they were decent. They there's maybe a few calls, but what else is new? But my main issue is the crowd. We didn't get hyped up. And I say we, I mean them, because I was hyped up the whole fucking game. They didn't get hyped up until that ending dunk with JJP. That was the loudest that crowd has been all night. And there were multiple times, and Jacqueline can confirm this, that I screamed out, we need a little crowd participation here. Like, nothing. Just absolutely nothing. No cheering on the guys, not saying, let's go, Jax, let's go. Couldn't hear anything. It was like you could hear a freaking pin drop in that. It was just abysmal. So I am drop dead excited for the January 22nd game when we play New Mexico State. I am so freaking excited for that because we have the reunion with all of us Purple Haze and hecklers and students. All of us old people are going to show those freaking little kids how the hell to do it.
I was about to say we might just have to designate ourselves as yell leaders. I hate to copy A&M on that, but I mean, something.
We're gonna have to do something. And you know, Jekyll and I, we hate leaving our seats, but I don't know. We may have to like have some people come over to our side, or we go over there for a half and then come back. I don't know, something. We'll have to figure something out because it's gonna be an absolute. I don't even know how to. I don't even know how to explain it because so many people are so excited to relive some glory days right now and come back and get wild and reckless in the heckler section. It's going to be wild. And we're going to be freaking tailgating in the parking lot, drinking the whole morning.
Yikes. Yeah, it's going to be a fun day.
It's going to be a fun day. So that's my rant. That's my rant. It needs to be better. Please. And don't give me this whole bullshit excuse about, oh, it's because we play in a nobody league and nobody knows who these teams are. What?
I mean, I yelled at my high school games when we were a small 1A. So you can yell for any level of game that you're watching.
It doesn't matter. It's your team out there. If you're at SFA and you're an alum or if you're buying a ticket to go sit and watch the game, you obviously have some sort of connection or some sort of tie to this university. And you mean to tell me that you can't get excited on a 3 or a good dunk or a good turnover in transition? Give me a absolute effing break. I mean, an absolute break. And it's just too much. It's too much. And this is where it leads to, because here's the thing. When that crowd is that quiet, when they're that just blah, there's no energy on the court. These guys feed off of our energy in the stands. And when there's no energy in the stands, there's no energy on the court. Zero, zip, none. The very beginning of that game, and it lasted a while, there was just no juice from the team. And it mainly was probably because there was no cheering. There was nothing happening. Literally, it's just me, Chauncey, and Jacqueline in the front row, just to ourselves, because no one else is listening. Yeah, hi, Scotty, freaking attention whore. Love it.
Really?
So we got to have more energy in the stands so that team can have more energy on the court. Just gotta. There were a few backdoor cuts that we did catch, but then there were a few that we didn't. Gotta watch out for those. Defending the rim, there were multiple, and this is why I'm saying defending the rim, okay? Yeah, we had some good rebounds defensively, but the Vaqueros had 30 points in the paint.
And I agree with that. One of my notes was we allowed some really easy buckets in the paint. Like there were a few that we just let them have it.
Easy. Exactly. Easy points in the paint. So simple. And this is I have another when it comes to the paint. And I don't think this is necessarily Davin's fault, but he had so many opportunities and looks at the basket, and he had good shots. They just weren't falling. I don't understand. I just didn't understand that.
Well, pretty much every time he got the ball, they doubled him. So
exactly. I mean, but he had a decent opportunity though, multiple times.
I didn't think he had very many good opportunities because they doubled him every time he touched the ball.
There were a few there in the beginning. There were a few in the beginning where he had, not a wide open basket, but it was not always a double, and it just didn't go in. I mean, it went in, bounced right out. How can you explain that? Like it went in and bounced right out. Like it's just the law. I mean, it literally felt like there was a freaking lid on the bucket every time. And that's not necessarily anybody's fault. It's just he was getting doubled, and the shots that he did have that were decent and just weren't falling. Annoying. And that's why he only came away with 6 points last night. 6 points. Need more. Need more from him down there under the basket. Okay. Last one for me. Last one. number 11 on the Vaqueros, the biggest flippity flopper I've ever seen. Okay. And the best part of last night for me was when he had already flopped once and they didn't call it. They called it on us, but it should have been a flop warning on number 11, but it wasn't. And then literally they come down here at the other end by us, and I'm yelling. I'm like, y'all got to watch for the flop. 11 is going to flop. I know it. I know it. And damn it, did he do it? He flopped it and they didn't call it. Literally, the kid sitting next to me across the aisle, Jack, I don't know if he heard me, but he was like, you need to buy a lottery ticket. He was like, yeah, you called that. I was like, I know, like, because I saw it happening. Like, I saw the future. I was Phil of the future for 5 minutes there, and I freaking knew it. I just knew it. I had my, that's so Raven when she has those stares and she goes, I saw the future. I knew he was going to flop. And he did. But yeah, so irritating. So irritating. I just don't get it. But yet they call Gavin for flops every game. Flop warnings every game. I don't get it. I don't. Anyway, you're up.
I think sometimes they kind of pick on the big men for that.
It's not Gavin's fault that he's built like a freaking ogre and everybody else is a little weakling.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with you.
It's not our fault that we hit the weights and these other guys just sit there and, like freaking sticks.
Yeah.
Sorry, you go ahead. I keep interrupting you. I apologize. Go ahead.
So my first grievance actually had nothing to do with the game. It had to do with me, but literally almost immediately I spilled my beer. And I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me. And of course, it was right after my cousin and his daughter just came and sat down there. And my cousin does not drink at all. So I'm like, awesome. Now I look like I'm just like stumbling drunk and already spilled my drink. And there's like beer everywhere. And
no, I wouldn't say that. No, you literally had 2 sips and then it knocked over.
I'm just like, awesome. Great. So then we're like trying to have the 4-year-old not step in the beer that I just spilled everywhere when she doesn't even.
That'll be all right.
Yeah. I'm like, great, awesome. Let me get up and immediately go get a bunch of paper towels to like wipe up this mess I just made. Great, awesome. Then as soon as the game starts, we let them make 2 3-pointers like right out the gate. And I'm like, cool. This is what it's going to look like. This is not good. Obviously,
actually, I got that. Yeah, I had that written down as well. I didn't mention it, but yeah. The whole three, like boom, right after each other.
Yeah.
Literally, that was a dagger to my heart. I'm like, this game will not go that way. I will quit. I will rage quit if this game goes this way.
So I wasn't happy with that. Then I just, we've said this the last few games. I don't know what has happened to our second half team. It's like they just use up all the juice in the first half, and then the second half they want to like let it get close and either barely come back or let us lose like we did at Charlton. But literally we led by as much as 17, and then we let them cut it to 6. Then we spaced the lead back out. Then we let them come back within 5 points with 1 minute left. And I'm like, cool, awesome.
Yeah. Oh, great. Yeah, exactly.
So that kind of made me nervous. Then, like I said earlier, even though it didn't seem like as many fouls because the refs were more consistent on what they blew whistle on, we still had a lot of fouls. We only had 2 less fouls than we did the last game. And I didn't even really notice it during the game, which, I mean, there was just a lot going on, so I really couldn't focus on the game that well. But 2 of our starters fouled out. We had Calvin and Gavin foul out.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, still too many fouls.
Yeah. You were kind of busy the whole game with your cousin and with your
yeah. So I'll go ahead and say my word for the game, and this is totally descriptive of what was going on in the stands, because it was a lot going on because my cousin was there, so he was sitting there, and I mean he is into basketball, but like we haven't seen each other in a while, and he's been here since before Christmas, but at Christmas he got COVID, so we didn't get to see him. So, he's trying to make conversation and whatnot. Then we got Tessa being Tessa. Then my aunt comes and sits behind us. Then Randy comes and sits behind me. I mean, I was just I was like kind of low key really stressing out because I was just way overstimulated. Like there was just, I love my family. I love seeing people at the game I haven't seen in a while, but there was just a lot going on. And then we kept shifting from being 17 points ahead and letting them come back within 5. And I look away for like 2 minutes of conversation and they're back in the game. And I'm just like, what is going on? I'm going to have to go back home and rewatch this. I always do anyway. But I was like, I don't even have the first note. I don't even know. Way overstimulated.
You were. And I knew you were. And I knew you were stressing out because, I mean, I would turn and say something to you like, "Oh, did you see that?" And you're like, "No, like I don't even know what's going on because you're having this long in-depth conversation with your cousin over here." And I'm like,
Jacqueline. I was stressed the F out, man. It was a lot.
So here's what I need you to do. I need you to tell everybody that if they want to see you, they need to come before the game, halftime, or after the game and make conversation so that you're focused and not stressed out.
It's so hard though, because I
know. You're just so loved and wanted.
So that's my word.
Got people beating down the door just to talk to you. Yeah, no, you were definitely overstimulated, poor thing. My word is hoarse because I got hoarse yelling for the team because I was one of the only people in that damn stadium. I mean, you could literally hear me from one end to the other. I heard my fucking voice vibrate and echo off the damn other side of the stadium.
I will take partial responsibility for that because I think you had to pick up some of the slack from where I would have normally been yelling.
You did. I mean, you were doing a few things when you were, not knee deep in conversation, but yes. Yeah.
When I could catch it, I yelled, but it just.
Exactly. Yeah, I got hoarse and I had to drink some tea when I came back to the house. I had a little hot toddy. Well, also because my nerves were frazzled because of that game. Anyway, so hoarse is my word. It has literally nothing to do with the play on the game. It's just literally I sounded like a man this morning. Sounded like a man this morning. So a couple hold on. So going back, Renelle said that people in the Philippines and Canada know about SFA basketball. I can attest to that. So that no one knows who we are. No, it wasn't. Nobody knows who we are. Everybody and their mom knows who we are, Renelle. It's people were saying that they didn't know who our opponents were. Our opponents.
Yeah, a lot of people say that we play nobody teams. Well, I mean, it's hard to get. We're not gonna get a bigger team than us to come play us at home if they're a non-conference opponent. Like it's not gonna happen. It's happened very minimal times. We got the 1-1 agreement with Alabama, and luckily they upheld that because we were supposed to have the 1-1 agreement with LSU. And after we went down there and beat them, they were like, "Yeah, no thanks. We'll pay you, but we're not going to play you."
Correct.
So
100% correct. 100% correct. And you think Alabama's going to do that shit again because they almost came to our house and almost lost?
Yeah.
But no.
Not again.
Again, I forget who mentioned that on Twitter. He's like, "Oh, I wish we need to play these other teams." I'm like, do you not understand how difficult it is to convince anyone of any Power 6 team caliber to come to play us in Nacogdoches?
If I see that, I'm just going to be like, you know what? If you think it's so easy, why don't you just pick up the phone and call them and tell them they should come play us? And they're not even going to take your call.
Right, exactly. Renelle, can I please have a birthday shout out here? It's birthday. Hey, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Feliz cumpleaños para ti. And then
Sean, ladies, you're just pumping us up.
We love you too. We miss you and we cannot wait to see you next week.
Next weekend.
Yeah. Next weekend. So moving on into the kind of latter part of our discussion here. Coming up, road game preview. Our next game is Sam Houston on the road. It's just, again, it's weird that we're playing Sam Houston so early, but this is how the cookie crumbles, I guess, in the new WAC system. So we're playing Sam Houston on Saturday at 2:00 in the afternoon. And Sean's laughing with the heart. So Jacqueline and I are making the trip down to Prisonville On Saturday, there's a few people that we know they're going as well. If you are having any desire or plans on going to, I want to call my Huntsville what I usually call it in my head, but I can't because, there are children present. Well, not present, but they may be eventually listening. I don't know. You know what I mean? Let's just say I take the H and replace it with a C. Anyway, so yeah. So anyway, we're gonna be playing in Huntsville on Saturday. Exciting game, afternoon game. I'm gonna head down there, maybe have some lunch at our favorite place in Huntsville, Potato Shack, and then head to the game. So again, if anybody's in the area, if you live in Houston and want to go to the game, it's not far up 45. I mean, it's right there. Easy trip, easy afternoon game. There's no more college football. There's barely any NFL going because it's playoffs, so there's only a few games. You're running out of excuses here, babe. It is basketball season through and through.
It is basketball season.
It is basketball season. Nell says, have fun, enjoy, watch the convex in orange. Absolutely. Orange is a whorish color. Maria, good luck Saturday. Thank you, Maria. Appreciate it. Yeah, so excited to go down to Sam Houston. Probably one of the last times that we'll be going down to Sam Houston for a while. Just that's again how the cookie crumbles there in the whole conference shift that's happening. So unless we play them outside of the conference, there really won't be much trips down to old Huntsville. Anyway, so what else we got going? Again, reminder for the Heckler alumni game on January 22nd. We've already mentioned it multiple times. If you haven't gotten tickets yet for that game, and even if you haven't, or even if you have and you're still just like on the fence and you're like, man, I have season tickets, but I don't know if I should go. You should go. I don't understand. Jacqueline drives an hour and a half every freaking home game. Do you know how many miles she puts on her car during basketball season? Astronomical.
A lot. And speaking of that, I'll go ahead and just give a quick preview of, so next week's going to be jam-packed, and I'm literally going to be driving back and forth to NAC 3 different times because on Monday, so Saturday, we have the away game at Sam Houston. Like Alex said, probably the last time in a while. So if you're anywhere close by, please make the trip. If you're leaving from NAC and you're cool, let us know, and we might let you ride with us. We'll see.
If you're cool.
Put in your applications. Because we're not taking just anybody. Listen.
No.
Okay, so anyhow, we have that on Saturday. So Monday, Martin Luther King Day, we have makeup game against Lamar. Thursday, we have the Cram the Coliseum game against Grand Canyon University. That's going to be a big one against GCU. They're probably going to be one of the toughest games that we play. One of the toughest teams we play this season. Toughest games will probably be there. But anyway, then Saturday, like Alex said, it's the Heckler reunion. That's also going to be a Hall of Fame game, and that's against New Mexico State, which is probably going to be the other toughest team that we play in the conference. So 3 big games next week, even though Lamar shouldn't be a big game. Like we've said, they come out of the woodworks from the bottom of the pack and play their best game against us. So that's going to be a big game too.
Don't even jinx it, Jax. Jesus, Pete.
Just saying.
Yeah.
So Pat next week. Sean Clinch says, I don't think people truly understand how significant of an opponent New Mexico State University is. Our student body could learn a lot from Grand Canyon, and Cal Baptist is legit.
All facts. All facts, Sean. Absolutely spot on. New Mexico is going to be an absolute tough game. The athletics has a bunch of things planned for the games coming up next week, giveaways, things that are happening. I mean, again, like I just don't think that people truly understand how much work athletics is doing behind the scenes to get people out to the games. They're doing everything they can. Just people are not responding. Students, community members.
They're doing a lot of incentives for the students, though. I mean, there's
a lot of incentives for the students. Yeah.
Really incentives for the community, but the students have a lot of like cool stuff that they're sending over.
There's giveaways that they usually do sometimes. I mean, there's halftime shows. I mean, the incentive is because you're cheering on your fucking team. That's the incentive. That is my incentive.
Yeah.
But I don't need intrinsic and or materialistic incentives to come to a game. I just don't. I don't. Yeah. I could sit at the very top row in the very back of the freaking Coliseum and be a happy camper. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need any special ooh, it's Alex sitting, come to the game. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm going because I want to be there and I want to cheer on my team. That should be enough for people. But alas,
it is not.
It is not. And it's really, really annoying. But here we go. It is what it is. Quick, I will say too, this weekend there is the Lady Jacks are having their reunion game, I believe this weekend on Saturday. So if you're in town and not going down to the Sam Houston game in Huntsville, definitely stick around and go and watch the reunion game for Lady Jacks. They're going to have a bunch of Lady Jacks coming back into town on Friday night, going to be at the brewery, and then of course on Saturday's the game. And then on Friday of next week, the 21st, before our New Mexico State game on the 22nd, we're also doing another little thing at the brewery. So if you're coming in for that game as well, Friday night, come out to the brewery. We're going to have a little get together and such. So make sure that you guys are heading out to the brewery, drinking some Purple Lights, coming to our tailgates. All of the above.
Lots of fun stuff. Can't say there's not anything to do.
If anybody says that, I'm going to whack him or her. I'm going to whack him. All right. So don't forget to follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the above. Also, do not forget that when you buy a 5-year personalized purple SFA plate from myplates.com, SFA Athletics takes in almost 250 doll hairs from that purchase. It's an easy, fun way to support your teams. It's a Stephen F. awesome way to cheer on and support your Lumberjacks. Even if you are buying the $50 1-year background only plate, man, oh man, SFA gets money from that too. You can get a 1-year, 3-year, 5-year term, either background only, or if you want to get personalization, you can do that too. It's a really, really easy process. If you don't feel like paying for it all up front right away, you could do a layaway option. It's a really, really good option as well. If you already have SFA plates, old ones, new ones, and you want to change it up, another easy process. Just go to www.myplates.com/lumberjacks and they will help you out. All you have to do is if you want to switch your plates, just go on there and call service, the customer service line, and they will help you out immediately. So make sure that if you don't have any My Plates, you get some, baby. You get some. Jacqueline and I love our My Plates, and we cannot. Yeah,
they're so pretty.
Beautiful. The purple looks good on a white car, baby.
Yeah, it looks real good on a white car. We both know that.
That's what I'm saying. All right, guys. Again, reminder, next game is going to be at Sam Houston. Next home game is going to be next week with our makeup game versus Lamar on the 17th, like Jacqueline mentioned. But we have literally 3 home games in a row next week. Do not miss out. Three big home games, Lamar, GCU, and New Mexico State. It's going to be a wild week. It's the first week back for me, back in class, back in school. I'm going to be tired AF, but I am going to keep calm and carry on.
You're going to have to push through somehow.
Cocaine. Just kidding. Just kidding. All right, guys. We love you. Appreciate you. Hope you have a wonderful night. Have a great hump day. It is 9:06 in the evening, Central Standard Time, and we are heading out. So always remember to axe 'em jacks.
Without some jacks.